Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Roma Forum podcast. It's episode 7. We're back after a week off, and today I'm joined by Luca. And, frankly, getting ready for this podcast, I'm speechless. And I'm speechless for a couple of reasons. Number one, like the title of the recording says, this feels like FIFA Career Mode. And we're playing on semi-pro, right? And we set our first summer transfer window to 100 million euros, and we're just steamrolling. 3 wins in a row, 9 out of 9 points possible, and we played Inter and Fiorentina in 2 of those matches. Once again, Ranieri has. I don't know. I don't want to say performed a miracle. He's managed to be consistent, right? We've turned the second leg of Inter and Fiorentina. We turned them from losses 1-0 to I believe it was 1-0 in the first leg. Yeah, 1-0 loss to a 1-0 win, and the absolute humiliation by Fiorentina. We won 1-0 in the second leg. What have you been identifying, Luca, as maybe some of these keys to why Ranieri is pulling off these Allegri ball victories?
I think he's just kind of instilled a confidence in the players that they aren't dog shit, that they do have talent, and he's obviously playing them in the right positions. Zeki Celik has been like a unbelievable player.
Looks like a 35 million euro defender.
Yeah, Mateus Sule, another one.
Unbelievable.
We were talking. Eldor Shomurodov looks like a $20 million striker. It's just these players who we were, depressed about and thinking, how is this possible? They're playing out of their minds, and obviously he's doing something psychologically in the dressing room that no other manager this season could do. Mm-hmm. And frankly, we were talking about, again, he's playing the same lineups every week, and he knows what this team can accomplish, and he's sticking to what they've been good at. It's not, folding to maybe trying to play a certain formation against a certain opponent. No, we're going to stick to what's working these past, however many months, and until somebody can handle us and beat us, then we're gonna not shy away from it. So
it's our brand of football.
Yeah, and frankly, I'm glad the team is making me eat my words. I think one of the last podcasts I said, as the title states, I was playing FIFA and ended up finishing third, but I said it's not possible. Well, I hope I can eat my words.
Yeah, mathematically, third place is actually still possible. I think, interestingly enough, in these last couple of weeks, it wasn't just about keeping the same lineup. He did do that, but did you also notice that both of these matches, the substitutes, which start a little earlier than we'd been used to, especially under Mourinho, and a little bit of De Rossi too. Pisili, Baldanzi, Gorna Duat, El Sharawi, and Divine Wrench. The same subs from Inter he put in for Fiorentina. And I feel like that is a great sign of not just trust, but I think of cooperation from the team and rhythm that we were missing, obviously, from the whole first half of the season. It's a science, and you can see that. He's working with a very specific formula. He's putting out a very specific starting 11, and he's making these particular subs. And in the last 2 weeks, they are the same subs, the same guys coming on. Speaking of subs, and the bench, Paredes is not playing so that we don't pay PSG like another 2.5-3 million euro, right? whatever. I mean, the guy, in my opinion, can be so annoying. He plays to the whole grinta romanista and romanismo and romanista fragico mentality, but he left to go. He left Roma the first stint after a year or two, and in his second stint with Roma, the guy's been had his bags packed for Boca Juniors like every transfer window, and it's getting annoying. So I'm ready to move on. He's a fantastic footballer, but if anyone's curious as to why he's not playing, that seems to be the reason why. So we don't have to pay that money to PSG, and his renewal was very obviously nothing other than an opportunity for us to just make that plus Valenza, that capital investment in him from when we sell him, because he was a free transfer, right? So we signed him for nothing, and then or did we sign him for nothing, or was it a
I think we did.
okay? Yeah, we signed him for nothing, and so any money we make off that transfer would go to our plus Valenza, and I think that was just a favor he's doing to the club.
Because he knows he's gone. I mean,
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, even Dybala is saying in interviews like, "Oh, he's trying to convince me all the time to go to Boca," but I don't know if my career is at that point yet. It's not. I mean, barring the injury, you know.
I mean, yeah, if he continues to get injured, it might be.
Yeah, you say Dybala and barring the injury in the same sentence, and it's a little bit problematic because as much as I really do love him, he does get hurt a lot. But barring the injury, the guy looks like he plays like he's 24, 25, 26. He's magical to watch. So, it leaves us in this really peculiar position because I don't think if you asked any Roma fan who was fully conscious of the fact that we basically needed to win out our last 10 matches, right? I think every single fan probably counted that Inter game as a loss. So there were no points there to be had. And I think that a lot of fans would have expected a draw against Fiorentina, especially after that last outing. But here we are, 6 points from these two matches. And I think the real tests are coming now because Inter had been slipping up to this point. Atalanta and Milan, Atalanta's a good team, and they love giving us a hard time, and they love being our villain whenever they can. And Milan is, playing well. They're not terrible. In their last 5, they've lost 1, and they've won 4. So I don't know. What do you think? This is it. I told myself I would take it more seriously if we beat Fiorentina. Now we did, and now I'm super nervous because we have arguably two of the hardest. These are the 2 most difficult matches, I think.
Yeah, I mean, every match is a final, and then we said that a few weeks ago at the start of this kind of span of games, and it couldn't be more true. Going back to a little bit of Roma, and what I've also seen is it's almost like we've been so used to the excuses of why we're not performing, the constant complaints, the referees, it was a lot of bullshit back and forth, starting with Mourinho, and then you got Pinto talking. I mean, just constant berating of making excuses, anything but the performances on the pitch, it seems like. And with Ranieri, it's almost like all of that is gone. I mean, it's just like there. I don't know that there's been a single excuse he's made.
No.
And every single match, he either says, the boys did well, or, they did all right. I would have liked it. I mean, it's just always super just what am I trying to say? Just
He's
kind
just
of,
pragmatic. He's
yes,
pragmatic. When they
very
play well, he
pragmatic.
says it, and when they don't, he says it. There was
Correct.
that
And
one match where he didn't have them shake the hands of the officials, but that was
but he
probably
did,
the only
but
dramatic
yeah,
moment.
I mean, but that's like the extent of it, and it's nothing that the team has dwelled on. It seemed like with Mourinho, maybe even Juric, maybe, I mean, they were always finding excuses to
Right.
take the attention off the squad.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost like they were focusing more on that than how they could possibly do well on the pitch.
Right.
And I'm glad that, Ranieri has come in and kind of flipped that around and just said, look, I love Roma. I'm here to help. Um, you know, and so
Yeah.
it's, that has been really, really refreshing to see.
Mm-hmm.
I hope in some form it continues next year. I hope there's a manager that comes in and kind of sees this playbook and thinks, all right, maybe I should take some notes here. Granted, if you're getting someone like Allegri, I mean, he's got his own, he's a serial winner, so
Yeah.
he's going to take his own path. But it's
Absolutely.
just it's after so much turmoil in this season, it is incredible. I mean, everybody loves a winner, and
Yep.
I mean, these past 18 or 19 matches have been nothing short of incredible.
Yeah.
And the it seems like the media, at least Paramount Plus, after we beat Inter, they didn't do anything but complain about either the referees or how poorly or whatever Inter
Mm-hmm.
played. It's like
Mm-hmm.
at some point, just sack up and like admit, okay, Roma is playing well.
Yeah.
And so that's frustrating, but
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
I
It's cool.
agree.
Yeah.
Listen, like we went out there against Inter, and did Inter play great? No. Um,
They were probably more focused on their Champions League match.
yeah, but still, like we went out there and we played our brand of football, and we played without fear, and that was a tremendous sign of maturity from the team.
Yeah.
Um, no matter what happened, we constantly pressured to force the game to be what we wanted it to be. And same thing, Fiorentina was a little bit more back and forth. I think they gave us a little more lip than Inter did. But no, we're playing. I mean, so many players have stepped up. I think Manu Kone is an unbelievable footballer. Like him, Svilar, Sule, like these guys should be untouchable next year, going into next season.
And frankly, nothing made me happier in the Fiorentina match than seeing Zaniolo
Oh
just
no,
get
I mean,
mentally butt fucked. I
yep,
mean, it was incredible.
yeah, I
As
mean,
as Christian liked to say, what, no lube,
yeah, sandpaper
yeah,
finish. Yeah, no, that
yeah,
was
incredible.
nasty.
Yeah, but
And that's
it's,
the
I
thing.
mean,
Like
and I never,
speaking,
and to be fair, I don't like saying that to people, but he's brought it upon himself. I
oh,
mean,
completely.
just his
Um,
attitude is just, I
this,
mean,
yeah, he's either got to be the superhero or the supervillain,
yeah,
and he's sort of pigeonholed himself into that dynamic, and so he's living with the consequences now. And the
mhm,
consequences are Gianluca Mancini getting under your skin. And, he's a very particular kind of person. That like personality type in Italy, it's like you either love him or you hate him, right? And everybody
yeah,
knows exactly what he's like. And and this is obviously, in my opinion, Mancini's best season at Roma so far. I mean, him and Indica. Uh, I think it was Correa dello Sport, or said they like front page or one of the main pages from yesterday or today. Mancini Indica. They call them the Champions Wall. Like that's a Champions League center back pairing right now with how they're playing.
yeah.
Um, like top notch. And so going into this next match against Atalanta, I mean, Atalanta is a team that can really impose their brand of football on every team they play, no matter who they're playing. So they're not a team that generally struggles with playing smaller sides, right? Where Roma, like Christian said previously in an earlier episode, sinks to the level of their opponent if their opponent is at a level below them. And we play at that level and we let them impose themselves upon us. Atalanta doesn't do that. Atalanta plays their brand of football, and Gasperini would not be at Atalanta this long if they didn't do that, right? That is like a mortal sin for Gasperini. And, when it comes to playing big teams, again, they play their brand of football. They play without fear. They're not afraid to be themselves. And I think if we're going to have to go to Bergamo and overturn that I think it was a 2-0 loss in the first leg and win, we just have to keep doing what we're doing. Playing our brand of football. Ranieri keeps putting out the strongest lineup he can. Cristante didn't have a great week last week. He had a great game against Inter. So make the subs that are as surgical as he's been making them, right? Injecting energy and pace at critical points in the match. And someone like Pisili, who's still maturing, who's growing, who has so much potential. Last two matches, Inter Fiorentina, he misses guaranteed goals. Like he should have scored twice, right? Yeah. We should be saying, can he go and do it again against Atalanta off the bench, right? Unfortunately, we're not. But I don't know. What do you think is key going into Bergamo?
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same keys that we saw against Inter and Fiorentina. Just play the way that they've been playing, and don't go in there scared. Because surely if we go in with our tails tucked between our legs, Atalanta is going to, just eat that up.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good opportunity to kind of, I mean, obviously it's a great opportunity to get a W. The first leg against them, I want to say it was Ranieri's maybe second league match after Napoli, and they weren't cruising like they are. I mean, he was still figuring it out.
Yeah.
And they lost 2-0. Granted, it was at the Olimpico, but still, I mean, it's an easily winnable.
Yeah, 2-0 at home sucks.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. I hope, I mean, 1-0 is great.
Yeah. No, it is.
I don't care.
1-0
I don't care if it's terrible. It's 3 points. Yeah, 1-0 is 3 points. That's what it is.
It doesn't matter. We need to win no matter what at all costs. Is third place likely? No. I mean, even if we beat Atalanta this week, they play like Genoa and Parma. I just saw. So, not realistic. But that top four finish is so critical to us. I think I read this week we get 60 million euro if we qualify for the Champions League. Like that is new lease on life.
And without a stadium, I mean that revenue is critical.
So I mean, it's crazy we've survived this long without Champions League, and it's like it seems apocalyptic every year if we don't qualify and we end up not qualifying.
And somehow we end up with Dybala and Lukaku.
And Paredes.
Yeah, it's like I'm not going to ask questions where this money's coming from. But
right, yeah. No,
where's the money coming from?
I mean, also, it speaks a lot to Roma's relationship with other teams, right? I mean, Renato Sanchez, Gini Wijnaldum, both coming from PSG, both like injury riddled players, but like they are like he's still Gini Wijnaldum, right? Yeah. He's still Renato Sanchez, and it didn't work out, but it seemed like we were patchworking teams throughout the years and finding success in particular ways and failures in others, and we won a trophy, and we lost a final, and we lost a semifinal, and we lost another semifinal, and
Yeah.
it's difficult. This could be it. I mean, the league is chaotic right now. I mean, Napoli's going to win the Scudetto with 86 points. Okay, in 2000, I don't remember. I want to say it was Spalletti's second year. We finished with 87 points in second place behind Inter.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to win the Scudetto with 86 points, like the lowest points total. They wouldn't have won the Scudetto any year in the last 20 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
With 86 points.
Yeah, I mean, there's really been no squad that's been like they're winning the Scudetto this year. It just so
No,
happened that,
they pulled
Inter,
away in the end. Inter
yeah,
slipped. They ran out of
yeah.
gas. I think
Now, who knows? Maybe Napoli could slip up here too. I mean, we're talking about the craziness of the league.
I mean, yeah, but
Highly unlikely considering Napoli is playing one game a week with Antonio Conte.
Conte, Genoa, Parma, Cagliari. I mean, this is it. It's their Scudetto,
Yeah,
and
they're making.
it's heartbreaking watching them win another one. But like, also, it's whatever. I mean, it really isn't gonna be a big deal for me if we make top four.
Yeah.
We basically we handed them the Scudetto by beating Inter. And it'll all be worthwhile if we can finally make top four, which is our goal every single year, which we have not been able to achieve. We've forsaken the Coppa Italia as a serious competition for some reason every year for the last I don't know how many years.
Mm-hmm.
We make deep runs in Europe, and we just don't have the depth to pull a top four finish. And every year it's something. It's dropping small points to little teams, like 6 to Como. I mean, if we had 6 more points by beating newly promoted Como and who are playing amazing football, we'd be in third place.
And Monza.
And Monza. I mean,
who are what, relegation?
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
I mean, that's a joke.
Yeah, and that's it. And you know what? And I guarantee you, if we don't make top four this year, we're gonna go through the summer cynical as hell. September's gonna roll around, end of August, and at some point we're gonna drop points to Sassuolo or Pisa, and we're gonna say, "Oh, it's a long season." And then all of a sudden, if we had beaten Pisa one more time, or if we drew Sassuolo instead of losing 4-1, right, we'd be in top four next year. So I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. I sound like a broken record. Every week we come on, Roma is not doing anything extraordinary on the pitch other than like being able to hold these results, right? They're going in, they're scoring, and then they're defending their leads, right?
The only way that I'm not cynical going into there's two ways. One is obviously if we finish top four. Secondly is if, post Milan match, they announce Allegri, and then that would get me fired up. I mean, I would be, and I know a few weeks back I said my number one was Ancelotti, but
no.
After thinking about it, and after the long conversations we have had, I think Ancelotti is not the right. It's not there. It's not the right time for him. I don't know that there will be the right time for him. And secondly, Allegri is somebody that we've seen so much overhaul in this squad. It seems like there's a certain the project that the Friedkins have in mind, or at least they're getting advised that they have in mind. And I feel like Allegri is a manager. First off, he's a serial winner. Secondly, he's not somebody that you just are going to have to blow up the whole, project for. Right. I mean, I think he could take this squad and run with it.
Yeah.
And so that is, again, makes you excited. I think with some of these young guys, Farioli or whatever his name is. And, some of the other names, you have to blow up the squad.
Yeah, it's a little bit more. You're speaking a little more revolutionary. Yeah,
yeah, and that's exciting in its own right. But I mean, we saw that, or we thought we were going to see that with Paulo Fonseca, and how did that turn out? Or a Daniele De Rossi. I mean, and how did that?
This is different.
Yeah, so I think again, like we've said in the past, I think Allegri is really the only pragmatic choice. And I think you throw the kitchen sink at him to try and get him to become manager. I don't care what he wants. I think you give it to him.
Yeah, no, I think
Open up another small business and, funnel money through it to pay for his salary. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you sell as many Highlanders as you can as the
Yeah,
free
exactly.
bring
Make a few more
Massimiliano Allegri.
movies.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, Max Allegri, it's not just he's a serial winner, but that's critical. It's not just that he can work with what you give him, but that's critical, right? And he wouldn't be inheriting a terrible squad by coming into this Roma either.
Yeah, we've seen it. It's not terrible.
No, like Ranieri is doing amazing, and they're playing at their level. That's the thing. Roma's playing at their level right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with one good summer window, Allegri will get players he wants to slot in certain places and whatever, right? But also, I think Allegri has something to prove. He was at Juve, Milan, won all these trophies, but can he do it like outside of Northern Italy, right? So this might be his chance, right?
Yeah.
I'm really excited because if you follow us on social media, there's been like these hints that we're saying Allegri will be announced after Milan. Take it with a grain of salt. I mean, I'm pretty convinced that Roma is going to announce Allegri soon. I think he will be the manager of Roma in the 2025-2026 season. I trust where I've heard it from. And I am really excited by that. So,
and it's kind of the Freakin's MO. It's like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're not gonna say anything. We're not gonna, give in to these rumors. We're not gonna come out and say, and then boom, here comes Dybala. Boom, here comes Lukaku. Boom, here comes Mourinho. Here, like just all these big names in the most crucial points of the season, or not season alone, just I think of Roma in general. I mean, it's these turning points where we thought, okay, it gives you a little bit of hope. And the Mourinho years, and to be fair, I thought were great years. I mean, the stadium was packed.
Fun. Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, you look back and you get a little cynical and you think, Anthony Taylor really screwed us out of that trophy or here and there, but that's the way life is.
Yeah, it is. I am excited. I am like, after what we've seen now, like I'm hopeful, but I'm so worried about that, coming back to the season, end of August, September, and again, like losing to Pisa. I see us dropping 3 points to Pisa. I see it.
I see it, but I cannot see an Allegri-led Roma letting that happen.
Yeah, that won't happen with him. At least I don't think so. That's not who he is. So
I mean, yeah. So it's nerve-wracking. It's exciting. I think.
And what's interesting is, so not claiming that anyone is important is looking at our social media at all, or in Twitter or Instagram, but ever since I heard that Allegri will be announced after Milan from a very reliable source who's been correct about a lot of surprising things in the past, a lot of media outlets have been saying, Roma and Allegri have been in contact over the last few days. Here's what's happened. And it's sort of like it went from, look at all these managers linked to Roma. Here's 2 or 3 that are linked to Roma. Well, for one reason or another, each one is knocked out. There's silence. And then all of a sudden, Roma's been in contact with Allegri for the last few days. And then there's these other rumors, fake news, I think, like, if Conte leaves Napoli, then Allegri's the plan B. And like, all right, like, not the end of the world, right? Because then, if Roma goes and signs Antonio Conte, I'm not going to complain either. But I think it's fake news. I think that Allegri is going to be Roma's manager. I don't know. I just have a gut feeling. I trust this person that I know, and yeah, it's very exciting. So hopefully it's not false hope. Hopefully I don't put my foot in my mouth, and
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But did you wanted to say anything else before we wrapped it up here?
No, I think that's it. I mean, there's really, like you started it off, kind of speechless, kind of crazy that we've come from the bottom of the table. I think it was 4 points from relegation to, uh, you know,
Well, we're 5 points
sniffing
from
top
third
four.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible, and there's really nothing more that needs to be said about it.
Yep.
Hopefully, we
I
have the
mean,
same tone after
after
that Atalanta
Atalanta,
match.
yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, we'll see. I will be back after Atalanta discussing that. It's a Monday match, so um, it'll be the last match. So we'll know everything that's happened. Right? Is Juve going? I think Juve
yeah,
plays Lazio, and like, well, Juve Lazio, is that a draw? Does Lazio win? You know, we need it. Roma would really need a draw. Like that would be great for us, and it would take a lot of
yeah,
pressure off of us.
yep.
So it'll be Monday, and I'm pretty sure it's you know it's going to be intense. And last game on Monday. So we'll see. We'll be back next week. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like and share. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. Instagram, please follow us. X, please follow us. You heard it here first. We're confident, at least I am. Allegri will be the manager of Roma 2025-2026 season. And yeah, so thanks again. Have a good evening or daytime, depending on when you're listening to this. And ciao.
Ciao, ciao.